With some big moves happening in the market, we're going to take a look at 10 stocks that are great to buy right now and when the market pulls back more. If that's what you're into, stick around. All right, so with every one of these videos, I always like to start with the major market. This is the IWV index. This is basically the broadest index that you can use to track all the stocks in the market, 3,000 of them to be exact. And overlaid, I have my market forecast cycle analysis, and right now we are in a yellow cycle. These things last about 9 days and go down about 0.3%. We're right about here at an average yellow cycle, even though it's been a little bit weak. So with one more distribution day or down day, we're looking at a red cycle, which will produce something like this. Okay, now with that in mind, we're going to take a look at 10 stocks that are going to do well if the market pulls back for a dip buy. All right, so the first stock is AA. This is Alcoa. And underneath the surface, aluminum prices are skyrocketing. And this thing has been basing, and it's just actually breaking out into a stage 2 uptrend, as represented by these two moving averages, the yearly moving average and the quarterly moving average. When those cross, we get a new uptrend. And this thing's just getting started here. It's actually strong today on kind of a mixed tape. I think this one is ready for a breakout here above $40, and a target price would be about $45 or $50 if this thing can get going. Our second stock is in the same theme. This is CENX. This is Century Aluminum. Same sort of theme. This is a East Coast aluminum producer, and they had good earnings. I mean, the aluminum price has been going up a lot, and they had this recent little dip here because a major shareholder actually offloaded 9 million shares. I mean, they own like almost half the company. But I think, they're just trying to sell into strength and reduce some of the size because they're very, very overweight in this company. And it looks to be like this dip is getting bought here. And yeah, if you could see this amount of volume coming into that average versus this amount of volume that pushed it up that high, it looks like a lot of people were ready to soak up that supply offered by Glencore. So we think that this thing continues to show strength and continues to move up because the fundamentals are good on this company. And this is a blue sky breakout, so the sky's the limit for this stock. All right, our third stock is Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. And this thing has just kind of been going sideways here. We were looking for it earlier to kind of break out of the 16-period moving average, but it's looking more like it's going to be a quarterly moving average bounce setup instead if it can hold strong here. Tape is getting a little bit weak, so the ideal thing that we would want to see here is a little undercut of this range, maybe undercut of the quarterly moving average, and then a V after that. And then Tesla is also a blue sky breakout, so the sky's the limit for this thing if it can get above 490. All right, our fourth stock is DY. This is Dycom Industries. This is one of these power related stocks. And it's been making a solid move here. It's bounced off the quarterly moving average once, showed a weak continuation, but now it's just kind of going sideways here. So we're watching this. I mean, ideally, if this thing shook out these lows, that would be much, much better. But if it can just keep going here, even in a weak tape, that would also be bullish. And this is another one of these blue sky breakouts. This thing has just been showing a lot of strength and bucking the market trend here. So that's Dycom Industries. Our fifth stock is StoneCo, ticker symbol STNE. This is a Brazilian fintech company, similar to Square, these types of payment processor companies. So this thing just had earnings, and it kind of took a little dip here below the quarterly moving average, undercut this low here, but didn't show any continuation, gapped up after that day with heavy volume. So we like to see that. After it shook out these lows, this is a key level here. And if this thing can, continue to move upwards here, after this lack of follow through, this is another beautiful breakout or long base, and it's entering into one of these fast moving zones. So, this thing can get going here. We're looking at much higher prices, maybe around $30 if this thing can get going. All right, our fifth stock is ticker symbol PWR. This is another power related stock or electricity generation in America. This is another one of these stocks similar to Dicom Industries that has just been very strong stock. Has bounced off of the quarterly moving average already once, and it showed a little bit stronger bounce than Dicom, and but similar action, but a little bit stronger underneath the surface here. So, if the market kind of confirm up here, once we get that downtrend, I expect this is going to be one of the leading stocks. And similar to all the other stocks, this is just a very strong uptrend chart. Doesn't really go down, so it's blue skies ahead. All right, so our seventh stock is a stock I outlined on the last video. This is EQT. We outlined it here, bouncing off this quarterly moving average, and we had a nice move here. I mean, this thing is up, what is this, 15% in a few days. We think that this thing is going to keep going because natural gas prices are showing a lot of strength here. EQT is at a very nice spot with this kind of cup and handle sort of thing, with the handle is actually above the previous high. So we like that. And this thing has just been going straight up. So a continuation over these highs would push us into all-time highs and blue skies. So the sky's the limit for this stock. And that's EQT, a natural gas producer. All right, our next stock is ticker symbol CRWV. This is CoreWeave Technologies. And this is a AI data center stock, and it's just been getting creamed here. Let me see. This thing is down about 50% off the highs, and it broke through this key support resistance level. And so the next one would be, around $63, $65 if it can't bounce here. Now, this is a much weaker support area than this one that it already broke. So just eyeing this one because this is a very hot sector. If this thing can pull back a little bit more during this downtrend, maybe speed up here and really kind of crash into the 65 level, just looking to take a stab at these AI data center stock. All right, our ninth stock is keeping with this AI data center theme is POWL Industries. This is a little bit more high octane kind of a stock. I mean, this thing is off of the April lows. This thing is up about 130%. And it's coming here, it did climax, the volume is still pretty low up here. So we like that. And it's just kind of gently pulling back here. If we can kind of get this pull back to this anchored VWAP from a Fed day / the quarterly moving average, we'd be looking at a nice dip buy because it seems to be hitting this new high. And forming a nice little sideways action here that we can kind of buy that first dip on the quarterly moving average, because this thing kind of made a big move without even touching it. So the expectation would be for this thing to bounce the first time that it touches that moving average. And this is another industrial power related AI data center related stock. All right, and our 10th stock, our last stock for the day, is ticker symbol BLDP. This is Ballard Power Solutions. This is in the same group as BE, which has been one of the strongest stocks. It's a hydrogen, power supplier, and this thing has made a nice move, off of the April lows. This thing is about, 237%, and it's just holding here at the highs. So if this thing can kind of break down and hit this quarterly moving average, and then bounce off of that as kind of a V kind of setup here, we would like that for a continuation, because this is very nice tight action here after making such a big move when all the other stocks in the same industry group are kind of pulling back. Like Plug is pulling back, FCell is pulling back, BE is of course the strongest. So this is kind of the middle of the road here. So BLDP, this is another stock that's been in a nice solid downtrend, but a lot of volume came in at the lows, and new uptrend seems to have started here. So and this thing can really explode once it gets going. So that's Ballard Power Solutions. All right, guys. And with that, that is the 10 stocks that I'm looking at to buy in this new pullback, or if we continue higher. And yeah, hey, if you guys like the picks, if you guys like the content, feel free to hit that like button. Really supports the channel. And if you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to write a comment down below, and I'll get back to you guys. I really enjoy the comments and like helping people. So with that, I hope you guys have a great day. Cheers.